Early development logs reference an entity labeled Flytrap, a Necromorph variant conceived but never cleared for live deployment. Though absent from recorded field encounters, the surviving design notes suggest the creature engineered less as a combatant and more as a static executioner, a thing meant to be discovered too late. The Flytrap's host body is suspended, inverted from overhead structures, anchored unnaturally by all four limbs. The posture forces the torso to hang downward, gravity pulling exposed organs into full view. The chest cavity described as open by design, the interior dermal layer entirely removed. Whether this slaying is a result of violent mutation or deliberate restructuring by the Necromorph pathogen remains unclear. What is clear is intent. Muscle fibers, ruptured viscera, and partially detached organs hang freely from the abdomen cavity, swaying with any disturbance in the surrounding air. This grotesque presentation offers no clear functional advantage. No armor, no enhanced mobility. This suggests the organism was designed primarily as a psychological weapon. A trap that announces itself only once it is already lethal. Speculative behavior modeling places the Flytrap in narrow corridors, ventilation shafts, or maintenance access ways, areas where survivors instinctively look forward, not up. From this vantage, the creature could drop its full weight onto the passing victims, or ensnare them in a sudden, downward strike. Even without range attacks or true locomotion, its positioning alone would make it devastating in confined spaces. In effect, the Flytrap represents a Necromorph philosophy, rarely seen so explicitly: killing through fear first, violence second. Grave Robber. Unlike frontline assault forms, the Grave Robber appears to have been envisioned as a post-battle organism, one that moves through the aftermath, reclaiming the dead not merely as a biomass, but as raw material for something greater. Though no complete anatomical profile survived, notes describe a creature built around desecration. The Grave Robber's posture is described as ursine, its mass pitched forward like a charging predator. Its cranial structure consists of 3 fused, jawless heads. These heads serve no feeding purpose. Instead, they appear to be vestigial remnants, cases of absorbed hosts left intact, possibly as a display mechanism rather than necessity. The torso is a nightmare of incomplete consumption. Multiple cadavers are partially embedded into its upper mass, their limbs and torsos protruding as if caught mid-absorption. Some records note that some of these victims are identifiable, their faces preserved just long enough to be recognized by survivors. This was not accidental. Offensively, the Grave Robber was armed with massive bladed limbs. One appendage appears to have originated from an entire slasher body, fused wholesale into the organism, reinforcing the idea that this creature was not a single transformation, but a convergence of many. Early concept documentation from the Ishimura references a heavy class organism, designated commander, though never actually seen beyond pictures. Its existence offers an insight into the experimental phase of necromorph biology. The commander is a larger than standard combat form, but more mobile than the behemoths. Its silhouette emphasizes bulk, elevation, and authority. The name itself implies hierarchy, suggesting a creature designed to function as a focal point in combat encounters, possibly drawing or directing lesser necromorphs through aggression rather than coordination. There is no evidence that the commander possessed true command intelligence. More likely, it was intended as a symbolic apex, a manifestation of dominance, meant to overwhelm survivors, psychologically, before physical engagement ever began. Among the earliest ever seen necromorphs was a swinger, a creature defined by verticality and persistence rather than raw strength. It was designed as a ceiling-bound predator, utilizing a bifurcated, prehensile tail composed of 2 muscular tentacles. This appendage allowed the organism to transverse overhead spaces in a pendular motion, swinging silently above corridors and open industrial bays alike. What made the swinger particularly lethal was its fail-safe anatomy. On severing the tail, this will cause the creature to plummet from above. On impact, however, the creature was split into 2 independent halves, each capable of continued aggression. Compounding this was the presence of internal acid sacs housed within the throat, enabling short-range corrosive expulsion. These sacs also served as the organism's critical vulnerability. Ruptured them, and the internal chemical reaction would disable the creature entirely. Early reference notes point to an early regenerative class organism labeled Bully, a direct precursor to what would be known as the Ubermorph later on. This creature exhibited the hallmark traits of its class: rapid tissue regeneration, resistance to dismemberment, and an auditory profile designed to announce its presence long before it arrived. No traces of where, what, or how this creature worked. All we have is documents that show that this is a transitional fossil in the Necromorph evolution.